2:00 in the morning from starting now.
Damn. I wonder how that guy does the 24-hour live streams that he does.
That's a great question.
All right. We're live.
All right. Yo. We have a lot to talk about. Yo. Welcome to the Trip Off This first ever live stream podcast episode. We're going to keep them short and sweet, like 30 minutes or so. We talk about anything and everything, music, politics, games, tech. Today we're going to start on a very specific thing. The person on the other end of this Google Hangout live chat is my man Josiah.
Yo.
Yo, you see that? That's continuity. You see that how we got the same intro from the studio show to the live show? That might be my voicemail, bro. You call me and I don't pick up, you're getting yo, welcome to the Trip Off This podcast.
We're nothing if not professional.
Exactly. So we already know where we're gonna start. We should start with the ill political news of the day, or of the past few days, which is like members of Congress, select members of Congress going to the southern border to visit the camps, the migrant camps, we'll say for now, down there. And I know you have a spirited rant deep inside your chest cavity right now for this. So why don't you just let it out? Start us strong.
We were going to do this yesterday, and I feel like my rant would have been much more spirited then.
Yeah, now it's calculated.
No, today I'm just like nihilistic about the whole thing. I was telling you earlier before the stream, like, I just feel like this would be a moment where we would look back on and be like, damn, we really fucked up. But I feel like we won't even be able to do that anymore because we're not, like, because of climate change and all the other types of things and just the attitudes that the border wall represents. It's not just that. It's like climate denial and like all that shit. And all of this is like popping off right when we probably need to come together the most to actually figure shit out. And it's like, it's going to be like the perfect disaster. And it's just like, I don't think we'll be able to pull through. I think given enough time, good always wins, but we don't have enough time.
I feel you. I feel like, I don't know, when I look at like political news and like especially like what you just said, I mean, all right, now we're kind of getting off the border topic already, but this is a broader issue in the fact that like you said, we don't have enough time, and just like I constantly see news stories and I'm like, dude, we're wasting time. Like,
yeah, straight up.
The answers are really obvious if we think about the issues and just solving them in their simplest form most times. But
yeah,
dude, we waste so much time. Like even the way like our government works and like bureaucracy works like around the world, like we always solve problems like 20 years too late. It's like, dude,
it's like people who care about like transgender issues, like people who are against it and people who are like just like care about gay bakers or whatever, like stupid shit like that. It's just like there's so many issues that are about to just like end us, and people in the South are just everywhere are just getting caught up on like the smallest things, in my opinion, like things that in the grand scheme of things are just like a footnote. If you were reading it in a history book, like a footnote, it's barely anything.
Right. And like, to be honest, to be fair, like I get caught up in that shit too. I'm not better than that.
Same for sure.
Like I'll spend like just 3 hours just like thinking about how dumb it is that.
But
like,
then you catch yourself, and it's like,
yeah, true.
Goddamn.
True.
Goddamn. There's so much to worry about, and the fact that we have to waste so much time arguing with people about stuff like that.
Like very basic shit.
Yeah, very exactly on every level. Like if somebody doesn't believe in climate change, they're gonna have some nuanced argument about why. It's like they just have decided that essentially. So you can't. I
know it feels like there's fucking no movement anywhere. It feels like I can't remember the last time I changed someone's mind. Maybe that's an indictment on me. But should we actually talk specifically about the border camps? Like,
I think that it seems pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it's extremely fucked up. But like, I feel like I'm kind of at the point with well, I guess not the exact same point because I guess my opinions are a little bit different. But like, I'm at the point with like the southern border issue that I kind of am with like the mass shooting issue, which is like, dude, at this point, just do something. Like, like if it's a little bit different because I know what I feel like I want on an immigration side, but like in terms of a school shooting, like maybe it is the best practical idea to put an armed guard in every school. maybe it is the best idea to take certain people's guns away. Maybe, like, I'm not saying I know the
Just
answer.
pick one. Yeah, just do something. I feel
Just
you.
pick one and do something. Which, I mean, like I said, I guess is a little bit different with the immigration and shit. But yeah, like the pictures that are getting out of there are like
Pretty awful.
pretty awful.
And hasn't it been said that they're essentially doing it as like punitively, like they're doing it as a deterrent to make people not want to come to the border anymore.
That is
I
the
feel like
dumbest shit I've ever
that
heard in
has
my
been
life.
said. And have you seen the Facebook group thing? How there was like a private Facebook group of ICE agents saying like wild shit and just like
Yeah,
very dehumanizing. And people, I heard some people trying to defend it with like, oh, it's how soldiers get desensitized in war or whatever. But it's like we aren't at war with these people. Like this is just the border. Like
yeah,
you shouldn't be getting desensitized to it. Like I don't know. Maybe
yeah.
I'm naive. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe the people who are joining Border Patrol because they saw an Instagram ad while they were like fucking going through Instagram model stories and just decided to uproot their entire life to go throw fucking people from other countries into cages. Maybe those are the people who should really be like watching the border. And I
Yeah,
don't know anything.
yeah, true. And you know what's crazy about that Facebook group that you mentioned? Like, yo, that shit had like 10,000 members in it. Like, and
Yeah.
like Border Patrol as an entity employs 20,000 people. So it was like dead ass half
It
of
did
the
say
Border
current
Patrol.
and former, so who knows how
All
many
right, true,
people no
true,
longer.
true. But it's very, and like that's the thing. It's very obviously being mismanaged. Like, yo, y'all got to do something. Like,
And okay, so the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they just approved the whole, like all the funding for it. The AOC, the very few senators stood against that, or
yeah,
congressman, whoever it was. But they funded it. I don't know.
yeah.
It,
It's
it
just terrible.
seems like
And like I don't understand, dude. I don't understand. The problem is like, all right, me as a, probably like, well, just for the simplest terms, as like a self-prescribed leftist, right? Like, I guess you could consider I'm fairly anti-American in some of my views. But like, I feel like when I'm arguing with these people about these issues, I come off as the pro-America, like, patriotic person. When I'm like, dude, look at the Statue of Liberty, like. Our country is built off immigrants. Like I
yeah.
feel like I'm spitting the country propaganda line, but it's like, dude, like I feel the same way when I have to tell people the Confederate flag is stupid. Like,
Yeah.
it's similar, but if that makes sense.
I feel like I don't know. It Trump. I feel like Trump doesn't really understand the long-term damage he's doing to institutions of the country. I mean, maybe this would have happened anyways. Maybe the damage is already done, but
The man eats filet of fishes. He doesn't know the long term damage that shit's doing to his body. He doesn't give a shit. So why would he give a shit about? Yo, I think we talked about this on the actual studio show, but were we talking about like how Trump golfs and like how any sane person like knowing that this migrant crisis is happening, how could you play a smooth round of 18 holes? Like how could you?
he's got to take his mind off the things. It's a
Oh
tough
man, it's
job.
crazy. It's crazy. Some of those pictures really are horrifying. Like some of the stories like coming out of the camps about like them getting like tiny shampoo containers to wash their entire bodies and like 50 people in a cell that's like meant for like 15 or 20 people or some just craziness. It's like
And it's like people can look at those images and brush them off so easily, but like imagine if that was you for a second. People will
just
say
one
things
second. Just
I
imagine
would never put myself into that kind of a situation, but like they don't. Those people never thought they would be there. Most likely, they probably never thought they would leave Honduras or whatever 10 years ago or whatever. They hoped things in their own country would just get better. Like I don't know, it's cold up here compared to there or whatever. Like why would they? It's pretty nice there. If it was nicer there, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get
People,
what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I get completely what you're saying. It's so fucked. And like we're talking about people who had their child ripped from their arms and have no idea where they are. And again, these people haven't committed a crime. Like think about all the heinous shit Americans do and just stay in jail. And it's like no even second guessing it. Not that people who commit heinous crimes should be fucking shot into the ocean or some shit, but like dude, we're talking about women and innocent people whose only crime is essentially crossing an imaginary line.
Yeah.
And we're like holding them up to get in and get a job or settle down and create a life, or assisting them in any way to do that. When like again, like fam, like Brock Turner sexually assaulted a woman and left her behind a dumpster and didn't spend a day in prison. Like the people that can't see like the glaring fucking issues in that, bro. Maybe I'm just
Yeah, no, I think it goes back to what we were saying about how everything's gridlock. Like nothing ever changes in this country because of the way that things are set up. I don't know. It just seems like, and especially with how the institutions are just being degraded with every presidency, it seems like, I don't know, how long will things last?
I know that's a very good point because like the like I was actually thinking about this today. Honestly, maybe the best thing that could have, this is gonna sound crazy, hot take alarm. Woo woo woo. Yo, honestly, maybe the best thing for Obama's legacy was Trump getting elected after him, because it made it
Ooh, I like
because
that.
because it made a lot of people who would have ended up critiquing the things he fucked up. It painted like such a glossy veneer over his presidency. It made so many people who otherwise would have found issues with the way he went through his presidency be blind to it just because they're like, oh,
Especially if everything just goes to shit now. He'd be like the last good president.
yeah, exactly. Like, yes, some of his policies and some of his programs are getting destroyed, and I guess that sucks for him.
I
But
can imagine a Dan Carlin of the future saying that, like, some people say that Obama was the last great president, but personally, I think that you have to go all the way back to FDR or like
yeah,
something like
like
that.
a historian when like we're eating like rat kebabs and
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
like forming shelters out of rubble. Yes, they will say that, which is crazy, which is definitely a hot take, but I honestly feel like it's pretty accurate. Like again, because Trump just seems so shitty to like the average privileged person who doesn't need to pay attention to politics, that like they kind of gloss over all the shit, all his campaign promises that he didn't fulfill or whatever it may be. But yeah, that was a hot take I had today that crossed my mind, and I was like, damn, that's kind of crazy, but I think I'm sticking with it going forward.
Nah, I feel that. I think that's true. I don't even think
Yeah,
that's a hot take.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it just sounds like a hot take. Like if I tweeted that, you would get like, I feel like you'd get a lot of hashtag resistance, hashtag blue wave, hashtag Hillary header,
Oof.
people saying I was a
Yeah,
fucking idiot.
yeah. That shit's tough.
But whatever. Um, but yeah, that shit crossed my mind today. But yeah, the border shit is super fucked up, dog. But like, what do you think they should do? Like, how can you? Hey! What do you think they can do to stop this? Like, what's the fix?
Um,
Go ahead, I can hear you.
I don't know. That's hard to say. It's like I feel like we've created such a problem by separating people that that'll take a very long time to fix.
That's
I
actually
don't.
very
I don't.
true.
It's such a big question. Like, if you really want to go back, how much of the problems that are happening in South and Central America, how much of that can be attributed to the CIA, like fucking with shit over there? Like, how much of this is related to us in some way?
I would say a large portion. Which is, I'm about to literally snuff my dog, but yeah, probably a large portion, which I think is definitely. And you know, I just got a crazy cross section, a crazy leap off this topic. But yo, how bad were some of those debate questions during the Democratic debate?
Yeah, the asking Bernie why people should vote for an old white guy is like
Yeah,
the best.
it's absolutely insane to even ask that. Like that question in its very is fucking bigoted as shit. Like
Yeah,
that question is fucked up. Why not just play it the opposite way? He's the first Jewish president ever. He would be. Why not make a big deal out of that?
that's true. I didn't know that.
If you want to make a big deal out of his identity, why not just play it the opposite way and make it seem like one of his strengths?
That's something.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. That dude, I think it's the same guy who asked that question at the very end of the debate and was like, you know what, I just want to say, you guys should all be real proud of yourselves. It's real hard going up there and like running for president. It was just such a stupid thing for some news anchor to just throw in. I don't know.
Yeah, like dude, you're talking to a
That
board
stuck
of millionaires. There's people out here
out.
who have it a lot rougher.
This isn't like an America's Got Talent fucking starting thing. Like, it's real good you guys came up here and you tried.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what's kind of annoying too about like our current political situation, we'll call it, yo, is, and then we can get off politics. We can talk about some shit else if you want, but it's crazy how like it seems like we've all just settled and decided that like the problems with our government are like the people's to fix. Like we've lost so much faith, I feel like, in politicians to fix any long-term issues. It seems like it's up to grassroots and like individual, like, oh, people are like, oh, you want to fucking fix climate change? Like ride your bike to work and like recycle and shit. It's like, dude, I get I'm just one person out of a very large group, but like these, not all of these problems are the populations to fix.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And like we all just kind of concede it. We all just kind of like say like, oh yeah, we'll try to fix these things. It's like, dude, we don't have the power essentially to fix the problems that are fucking up everyone's life.
It's like what's needed is some super radical change that will never happen because the people who want the opposite radical change. I've been thinking about it, and I feel like an analogy for the political landscape right now, right? So imagine like it's a field of like really dry grass, right?
Okay.
And the people on the far right, for my example, I guess, are trying to start like a fire, and the people on the left are trying to like build like a garden or something, like reclaim the land and make it like a nice natural habitat, but it's super dry. Like everything's super dry.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like the people on the left have to do a lot of work to build this garden or whatever, but like the people on the right are just trying to start a fire in this already very, very, very dry area. So I think you see where I'm going with this, where it's like, oh, it takes a lot less work for the people on the right to like affect things than it does for the people on the left.
100%. 100%. That's actually a pretty well fleshed out analogy, to be honest.
Because a lot of people, I've been thinking about it for like 3 days. Because a lot of people in the middle, like, I don't know, like people like somebody's dad might be like, he's not like a racist or whatever, but he's enough in the middle that if suddenly politicians and like all these things are justifying that, like, I don't know, people in the middle, it's like that grass can just like be caught up in the fire.
Yeah, nah.
Very quickly. Especially in the bigger the fire gets, and the analogy I think it continues to work. Like the bigger the fire gets, the faster it spreads.
Yeah. Yeah, nah. All facts.
Which is why you should fucking. And another thing is that fascists will use like liberal, like the faults of liberal democracies against them. And like they will use free speech to try to, like, they will use all your things against you to try to get their own. It happens again and again. The Nazis did it. That's why it's the National Socialists, is because they co-opted a socialist movement to make the Nazis happen. And the second they got into power, they disbanded the unions and like killed railway workers for wanting more money. And they did a whole bunch of very not leftist stuff, but people still love to say like,
right,
oh, Nazis are the left.
No, it's like all the super left policies that they had are what got people in the door. And then closed the door behind them and like pulled the sheet off the sign that was like, actually, we're not left. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, but So
I think to finish off this analogy, the thing that we have to do is it's like we have to water the grass, I guess, and make it healthy again, which I think involves education, like heavy education spending. You got to stop letting the South gut their education spending, their budgets. There has to be like minimums. There has to be, because I don't know, you cannot tell me that Massachusetts and Mississippi have equal rigor when it comes to education standards.
I would say probably not. No.
I wish I could relive childhood again as a kid in like Alabama, because I bet it's so different. Like I can't even imagine.
Yeah, you would need entire curriculum changes at that point. Like, I think we do have like a national curriculum, but like you said, growing up down south or anywhere else, you definitely receive a different education, which is fucked for sure. But yeah, putting a lot of money in education would be a great first step too.
But that wouldn't, those seeds wouldn't even take root. Like the generation now is still fucked. Like everything that's happening now will still continue to happen for at least a generation. So like, I don't know, there's something's gonna have to happen like with this generation of people.
Yeah.
I don't know what that thing is either, but I don't know. It's very good.
yeah, we're being super fucking nihilistic on this podcast. And you know what's crazy? You know what gives me hope is like, all right, let's just say for conversation's sake that Bernie's gonna win in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it would be super interesting to see what like an actual left complete administration could
Yeah.
do.
I think that the thing that would happen if Bernie, like the good thing about if Bernie wins would be like a galvanized left more than any other candidate. Like if Tulsi wins or if any of those other people on the left wins, I don't know how much they'll actually galvanize like a socialist kind of movement, like a very leftist movement. As much as Bernie, like I think Bernie has the mindset where him getting in is just the beginning. And
Right,
then
right.
like he's going to continue to try to galvanize people and hopefully set up programs and blah blah blah.
Right, that actually help
That'll
people, that people would continue to vote for these policies and shit, and like
yeah, and something to like
do a political revolution.
activate the youth. Like there's all these people without jobs or whatever. Give them like I don't know. Imagine if there was something like the army you could join, but instead of like going and fucking killing people, you just like build things and help people. There are things like that, but you have to go to college. Like something you could enlist to that like that. I bet a lot of people would join because a lot of people join the army because they're looking for purpose or whatever.
Yeah, true.
And it's just we're giving them that. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
An expanded Peace Corps.
Yeah. It would just be interesting to see what an administration full of like, I feel like we haven't had an actual administration that wasn't like the financial positions in the administration weren't filled by like Goldman Sachs former executives and shit. Like, have we had a foreign policy cabinet, a military cabinet that wasn't full of like people that should be in The Hague, or like people who fucking have lied to the public, we know for a fact, or people that like are actually anti-war and anti-military industrial complex. Like, I feel like we've never had an actual administration full of those type of people, and I'm curious to see how quickly that could not turn us around, but switch the roads we were on, switch the path, if that makes sense.
It's hard to say. Like I've
like Obama's administration, I feel like was overwhelmingly like just corporate. Like,
do you think that America in its current state,
he picked Joe Biden as his fucking VP?
Yeah,
that's always crazy. It's not to cut you off, but like,
yeah,
in all the clips of Biden getting shit on, people again just like completely ignore the fact that all these clips of like supporting busing and all this wild shit y'all seeing, fam, that C-SPAN footage was out when Obama picked him as a VP. Like, that shit isn't just being uncovered in a now this video, bro. Like,
do you think Obama will endorse him?
Hell no. Hell no. His approval rating is like fucking 76. That's gonna hurt. Player, why the fuck would he do some shit like that?
Because they homies.
Yeah, because they have best friend bracelets. Gang.
Yeah. Do you think that the government, like the United States as it exists, is something that is actually like savable long term? Like,
that's a deep question. No, probably not, dude. Not the way we are now, bro.
What do you think it would take? This is the logical next question. What do you think it would take to like rewrite things on that level? Do you think something like that would ever happen? Just like by vote?
You know what's crazy is I actually had a conversation with a coworker about this, and they asked me, what do you think it would take in 2019 2020 to actually unite the country? And I was like, bro, it would take some shit.
Aliens. That's literally the only thing I can think.
It would take some shit. Like another 9/11 would not do it.
Nope.
Not even close. That would make it worse, honestly. Like I'm not even saying, like, honestly, we're talking about some evil shit, but like, even like if someone fucking had the fucking audacity to fucking somehow detonate a nuke or like an atom bomb in the United States, I don't even think that would actually unite the population, the left and the right at this point. It would take a fucking right. Like, what would it take?
One. I don't know. Like I said, aliens. Like aliens.
IHOP, switching to IHOP.
Yeah, that would do it. That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. Now, you know, this is a good segue, but you know what might do it, and you know what is probably the only thing that might do it, and we might be able to survive, is a meteor strike.
Ooh, that would be really good. It would have to hit our country.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to
It
be
couldn't hit like
projected.
Russia. It couldn't hit China. It couldn't even hit Europe. It literally has to hit the U.S. That's how fucking stupid we are.
Damn, that's a fact though. That's a fucking fact. It would literally have to be like it's gonna hit
It
Nebraska.
couldn't even hit like it couldn't even hit a super rural area.
Yeah,
Honestly,
true.
like if it hit Nevada where no one is
It would
and
have
didn't
to
do some
hit like
crazy shit, or
it would.
yeah.
It would have to hit Texas or like Florida.
Ooh,
Like,
Yellowstone going off might that
uh
might unite us.
nah, hell
Nah,
no.
nah, we just divide the country like where the lava is. We
Yeah,
would just split it
yeah.
in half.
I don't think that would do it. I'm trying to think of like what each side's response would be, and I could just see them arguing about it, like, which is
Do
fucking
you think
hilarious. Yeah.
I feel like what would happen under some crazy circumstance like that? I feel like we would just break apart into clusters of states that like each other. Honestly, like maybe the South would be a big
You're
block.
saying if Yellowstone erupted?
I'm saying if any of these things happened,
Okay, okay.
and like if the federal government couldn't like make responses in time, like if things broke down on that level, like the federal government would be the first thing to collapse. I think states would probably hold on to power longer.
Yeah, you're probably right. Damn, that shit would be crazy. Honestly, though, would be. I think literally the only thing is like you said, fucking a Martian stepping out of a fucking UFO.
With crazy, they have to be so much more powerful than us that it's like,
Right,
okay,
like if we could kill it, we'd still argue about it.
these
Like,
are the things that we hate now.
if we could beat them in some type of military thing, we'd argue about it. That just an alien coming here wouldn't be enough to unite the country at this point. We It would have to be threatening existential death, and
And
even
like
then it'd be like,
the reason I feel this way is because of the shit that you can see online. Like
yeah,
you can like read any comment section of like it'll be like pictures of migrants or something, and there'll be some fucking idiot in sunglasses outside in a Trump hat, like those kids deserved it, or like just some shit like that, like some hot dumb take that you've heard 1,000 times.
yeah. The internet's
Like they're
definitely known
voting
for.
illegally, like something like that. Like the Democrats just want them in this country because they're gonna vote illegally in the elections, or like,
Yeah.
oof.
Yeah, nah. Damn, we are getting pretty dark saying that literally nothing can unite the country at this point. Like, that low key sounds like a rallying cry.
I think for like a generation, at least, like maybe the youth is more open minded, but it's the old people that post online. There's no getting to them, at least.
Yeah, true.
I
I
don't
think
know.
you're talking about that. They're the ones like still clicking on the wild virusy looking ads and shit. Like they're doomed. They're literally driving humanity off a cliff in a certain extent. In a certain
Oh. I
yeah.
feel
Should we
like
talk about, what's up?
yeah, nothing. I was gonna say
I was gonna say we should talk about some positive shit before we
yeah,
hop
for
on.
real,
We just been talking about the end of everything, bruh. I'm trying to plan for my future.
for real. Short term,
Yeah, short term. But like, let's get a TV show. Let's
like
get
nah.
this show
I
on
feel like
AM radio.
I feel like this is kind of a positive thing. I feel like we will. I feel like humans are gonna keep shit running like it's normal until the last possible second. Like it'll be like 2065. We'll be old as fuck. We'll be sitting in like AC rooms. Everything will be awful. Like the world will be going to shit. But like until like we're gonna wait till the last second.
That's actually fucking hilarious. We'll cling on like McDonald's will stay open until the meteorite fucking makes impact, dude. Like, like shit. We'll fucking keep it pushing any way we know how. Which is so funny. Like I this is just another negative thing, I guess. But like people that think like just science is gonna just fix climate change at some point, like and not like massive policy change and shit. Like
It's like at this point, first of all, at this point, we're gonna like avert some of it. Like we've already fucked up, probably, as from everything I've seemed to read.
dude, did you see it was hailing in Mexico yesterday? They got 3 feet of hail.
3 feet of hail? What?
Bro, oh my god.
That's wild.
I gotta look it up. I'm gonna put it up to the camera and show you the picture of it. It's like it's like no shit. Um that like people who lived fucking hundreds of years ago just thought fucking magic was fucking happening, bro. Look at these. Hold on.
Life would be
Okay.
so much easier if you could just think magic and religion and all that kind of shit was just like 100%.
Fam, I don't know if you can see this really.
Holy shit.
Fam, that was Mexico yesterday, bro. Those are people in cars in hail. They're like in shorts and t-shirts.
Oof.
Bro. The day
That's
after tomorrow was a fucking biopic documentary.
I wonder if it'll. The thing is, I don't think it'll happen like that suddenly. Like there won't be a moment where New York floods or something. It's just going to be like, well, now we're closing these districts. Like all these cities know that they have to build seawalls and shit. Like they all know, but yet we pretend that climate, like some places pretend that climate change like isn't real. I don't know.
Bro, it's just like getting an oil change. It's just like when your engine light comes on in the car and you just act like you don't see it. You just keep driving and just like don't hear the rattling that your engine's making.
How stupid are people that we think that we can just drive around in cars that are like putting something out? Like we see the smoke coming out of it, and that there's so many of them, and like we know. I don't know. How can we just think like, yeah, it all takes care of itself? Like, what do you? I want to hear what one of these people thinks happens to that when it leaves your car.
That literally should be the American motto. It all just takes care of itself. Like, that is literally how we live our life. It's so funny. It's so funny. You're right though. We just know shit's just pushing out poison, and we're just like, eh. Scientists are like, yo, this is putting holes in the protective layer of the atmosphere. Eh.
Or like, I went to Aldi's the other day for the first time. You gotta like bring your own bags and shit. I did all that.
Or you gotta carry shit out with your hands.
Yeah, no, they sell you a paper bag. Like you gotta buy bags there. It's crazy. But I went there. I brought bags. I put everything away. I carried it back to the house in like one trip because they're way better bags than plastic bags, so you can just really load them up.
Yeah, true.
And it's like the second I got back in my house, I'm like, we fucked up. Why do we have plastic? Why did we let people get so used to? Why? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that every single person on this planet doesn't just bring a bag. We should have reusable everything. You should have like, at the end of the day, really, you should have like refillable bottles of soda. You should have refillable like boxes of cereal. Everything should be like that. But it's like the way that we build things works like evolution almost. It's like we don't get rid of the old bad idea. It's like how we still have water in our eyes from when we were fishes, even though it doesn't like help us or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we aren't going to get rid of the plastic bags or whatever because we used them before, even though
we all know they're fucking shit up.
And we didn't use them in the past. It's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It makes no sense. We just keep it.
Reusable bags is such a small thing. I highly recommend people do that. It's so easy.
Yeah, like you said, it's a better structural bag. We figured it out better than.
It's so much better. Like it's something, man. It's just I felt so dumb the second I got back. Like I felt dumb for humanity.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's like a reoccurring theme in life and on this podcast.
Are you excited for Stranger Things? It's coming out tomorrow, right?
Bro, you know what I've been watching, bro? Do you have Hulu? I think everyone has Hulu. Hulu's free, I think. Is it? I don't know. I'm just talking shit. I don't even know.
What's on Hulu?
Dude, The Handmaid's Tale?
I've heard about that.
Is a fucking phenomenal show, bro. Phenomenal show. Like,
it's like an alternate universe type deal.
Yeah, it's just like it's kind of like Children of Men. I don't know if you know that story, the book or the movie, but it's like women stop getting pregnant, and we're not really sure if that's like a male infertility problem or like a woman's reproductive problem. But like the more like you go to a hospital and there's just like no babies like in the nursery. There's like one baby. Like people aren't having kids for whatever reason, and basically, it's just like an alternate reality, as if like the most far right, conservative, religious people ran on a platform of like, God is punishing us. If we go back to like very conservative Catholic or Christian, whatever you want to fucking say, traditional ways of life, like women will start getting pregnant again, and like they fucking just win essentially and make society super fucked up, and like that's the setting of the story, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I feel like people like that because they feel like it's fucking happening. Right?
Yeah, it's like, crazy.
to quickly pivot back to sad things, the fact that that Trump has been able to put in all these justices that will serve life terms or whatever in court positions, like people don't understand, but we're going to be feeling the ripples of that for the rest of our lives
No question.
with
No question.
conservative laws that are being passed, and like we aren't allowed to fix gerrymandering, like we aren't going to be allowed to stop fracking, we aren't going to be allowed to do a bunch of shit like that. That's only going to make everything worse.
Exactly. You couldn't have ended on a sadder note, but that's straight facts. And like, you know what's even fucking crazier is like, oh my god, like I think I tweeted this out like so many times, but Mitch McConnell is the fucking worst human in politics. Very
I
possible.
think he is the Antichrist.
Dude, if there fucking is an Antichrist, it's literally Mitch McConnell. But like it's crazy that like this is gonna also sound so fucked up, but it's crazy that like fucking Ruth Bader Ginsburg is like a fucking slip and fall in her home from like Trump getting another fucking Supreme Court pick, and like Mitch McConnell just being the fucking bipartisan hack piece of shit asshole he is, and being like, yeah, we're just gonna pick now, even though 2020 is right around the corner and we might not have the power to in 6 months. Like,
Yeah,
we're just
no,
gonna push this
exactly.
through because we're in office now, and that's what matters. Like,
That
whole
sucks.
shit.
That's such a shitty position to be with. I bet they would fake her being alive
Dude,
until it was up.
that is a fucking conspiracy theory and a half, but I could get on board with it. They will fucking Weekend at Bernie's her ass, bro, for as long as they fucking possibly can. And at this point, I'm all for it because if something happens, we're even more fucked, bro. Shit's taking even worse of a left turn, bro.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. The
Yeah.
thought, damn, like I got the wild visual of like RBG just like in the chair with the sunglasses, like, like, like just not moving, and they're like, oh yeah, she's chilling.
Damn, dude.
It's so dark. Fuck.
That made me think of something equally dark. That eventually there's gonna be a last like concert musically at some point.
Some sad shit.
And
What
like
is it gonna be?
I wonder who it'll be. I wonder if it's someone that we know.
Nah, like no inhumanity. It's literally will be like a Logan Paul residency in Vegas where he's like fucking 60 doing like
And it's like the Titanic ending with the band, but it's fucking that.
yeah, literally. That'd be some humanity ass shit to happen to us.
Damn.
Fuck.
The next one of these we do can't be so dark.
Nah, this one was dark.
We gotta pretend everything is fine. We just gotta be we gotta be centrists next time.
Oh fuck, that's gonna be so boring. nothing but meaningless platitudes.
Yeah, we'll just what's that podcast? Fucking Pod Save America. Have you ever
Oh my
heard?
god, yeah.
Yeah, those guys are something.
Dude, fucking next live stream, I'm fucking freestyling a Hot 16 dissing Pod Save America.
Hell yeah.
So Hot 16. All right, we'll hop off this. Catch you guys on the next one.
Word. All right. Later.
Gang shit.